It is time for the 32 to 1 two-tone talk power rankings. And these have been all over the place so far throughout this season. And this week is no different. Teams falling off, teams rising to the occasion. Let's talk about it. And we start with the bottom three. Listen, I was fully expecting to come on here today and have our guys listed as the worst team in the league. And then I tuned into Monday Night Football, and I think I saw a team even worse than us. Because at number 32, I have got the Jacksonville Jaguars as the worst team in the league right now. Paying Trevor Lawrence all that money for him to play like that, their offensive line's in shambles. I know what that feels like. Doug Peterson's seat is getting hotter and hotter with every passing day. They got Houston coming up this Sunday, and they might be staring 0-4 in the face. We may too. And everybody thought Jacksonville was going to be good. Everybody tried to say Trevor Lawrence is better than he is. Trevor Lawrence is not a consistently good quarterback. He is not a top 10 quarterback. I don't even think he's a top 15 quarterback in this league. And the other night, he looked like not even a top 25 quarterback. Jags at number 32, and then it was unavoidable at number 31. I had to put the good guys. I had to put the Tennessee Titans at number 31. I mean, Sunday, if they're going to consistently be in this bottom three if they keep playing like they did on Sunday. I mean, defense, putrid. Will Levis, not good enough. Offensive line, disgraceful. What more can you say? I've said everything I can say about them. Number 30, I rounded out the bottom three with the Patriots. I mean, the last time we saw the Patriots was on Thursday night. And I think Jacoby Brissett and all of the crew they have just, it doesn't look good. I think that it's going to continue to be a long year for the Patriots. Clock's ticking on Drake May. Let's get into the 20s and some movement here. At number 29, the Bears. You know, I think Caleb Williams probably played his best game as a pro the other day. But he's just behind a terrible offensive line, and he needs to get better, but, he's not in a good situation right now, just like Justin Fields wasn't in a good situation with him, because this offensive line is terrible. They should have won this game over the Colts. They didn't, and now here we are. The Bears at number 29. How did the Titans lose to them? Number 28, the Colts. I kept the Colts right where they are. I still don't think the Colts are any good. I don't think the Colts are any good. I don't think Anthony Richardson's any good at all. Their defense, I don't think, is good. Jonathan Taylor has played well. That's been the bright spot for them. They actually have a good offensive line. Anthony Richardson, if you look at the stats, Anthony Richardson's had good protection. He just isn't playing well. So, I think the Colts are still toward the bottom here at number 28. Number 27, the Raiders. I mean, with the Raiders, you get what you get. With Minshew, like I keep saying, he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He can win you a game. He can lose you a game. But now, after all of that excitement, after they went and beat the Ravens on the road in week 2, it's just you feel like you're kind of right back where you started with them. Number 26, the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Panthers look like a different team. I still don't know, if it's the right decision to bench Bryce Young, but it sure looks like it right now. In the long run, we'll see, but the Panthers look like a new team. We'll see if that continues. Andy Dalton played great. Panthers looked good. And the Panthers have continually been at the bottom of this list, so they rise to 26. Number 25, the Denver Broncos. I mean, I didn't see this coming. The Broncos went in and walloped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 3. Bo Nix was absolutely the best he's looked so far. And so we'll see. I don't know if it'll last. It felt a little fluky to me. It just felt like they came out feeling good. They put their pants on the right way that morning. I don't know. But the Broncos looked a lot better, and Bo Nix did too. Number 24, the Cleveland Browns. I've said it again. I do not believe in Deshaun Watson at all. I think he's bad. I think his time as the quarterback of that team is going to come to a close pretty soon, either because of the legal stuff or just because he's playing so bad. But I mean, the Browns, they have a terrible offensive line too. Number 23, the Giants. I know the Giants dropped one last night to the Cowboys. Just couldn't score touchdowns. Kept kicking field goals. They won on Sunday. I still think Daniel Jones has been better. Malik Neighbors has obviously really emerged for them over the last couple of games. The Giants, yeah, they're 1-3, and they dropped one to the Cowboys last night that it felt like they had a chance to win. But I still think the Giants are better than every team below them right now on this list. Number 22, the Miami Dolphins. They're just in a tough situation right now with quarterback and Tua, and I we'll see, but I don't know. That really puts them behind the eight ball. Obviously, you still have Tyreek Hill and all of that, but just kind of a tough go for them so far this year. Number 21, the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals kind of came back down to earth this week. I mean, they looked amazing in week 2. Kyler Murray on any given week has potential to be the most dangerous player in the NFL, but a lot of times he doesn't show it. A lot of times we don't see it, but I mean, they could beat anybody on any given week. I just don't know if they can consistently put it together well enough. Let's go to the other side of the screen at number 20, the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Cowboys got a win last night. I still don't believe in the Cowboys at all. It's not Dak. I like Dak. I think Dak's good, but I don't buy their defense. It just seems like it does not have the same feeling of these Cowboys teams of the last few years where you always feel like they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be a contender in the NFC. It just doesn't have that feeling to me this year. They look kind of like even though they won last night, they just look a mess. I'm not a believer in that Cowboys team at all. Number 19, the Cincinnati Bengals. I finally had to drop the Bengals down this list. I mean, they're 0-3. I don't think they're playing badly. I don't think Burrow's playing badly, but they just can't win games. They've just been outplayed, I think, especially by Jaden Daniels and company the other night. We'll see if the Bengals can rebound. Everybody expects them to, but they keep losing. So we'll see. But I had to drop the Bengals down. Number 18, the Chargers. I had the Chargers in the top 10 last week, and I go back to what I said preseason. I don't think the Chargers are a playoff team. I really don't. And I like Herbert and I like Harbaugh. I just don't think they have those weapons on the outside. J.K. Dobbins carried them the first 2 weeks. I think they're an 8-9 team, and they need to go out and get some weapons next offseason so that then they can make some noise next year. But I know Justin Herbert is hurt. That's another part of this. He had to exit the game. He's hurt. Who knows the severity of that? Number 17, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons drop a few spots after coming back and winning that game over the Eagles. I mean, they lost to the Chiefs. Chiefs obviously are tough to beat. I still think Kirk Cousins played well, and my gut still tells me that the Falcons will find a way to win this division when it's all said and done. I definitely trust Kirk Cousins more than Derek Carr or Andy Dalton. Baker, I don't know. I mean, that's neck and neck, but I think the Falcons and Bucks are going to kind of be in a race there. Number 16, the Saints. Saints drop big this week. I had them in the top 10, and I was hesitant because I was still so skeptical of them. And then, this past Sunday, Derek Carr looked like Derek Carr, and the Saints just, kind of looked more like they did last year. So I don't know if the Saints will be able to continue on with the success that they had the first 2 weeks. Remember, they played the Panthers in week 1. They whooped up on the Cowboys in week 2, and the Cowboys defense is not very good. So we'll see, but the Saints are at 16. Number 15, the Washington Commanders. I mean, Jaden Daniels looks as dangerous as any quarterback in the league right now. I think the Commanders, they're as frisky as it gets, and Jaden Daniels has come out of nowhere. I expected him to be good, but he's still been even better than I expected. Number 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs drop out of the top 10 this week. I just didn't see this coming. They were rolling, they looked good, and then they just got walloped by the Broncos at home. I don't know if it was just a fluky thing. We'll see how they rebound, but the Bucs, right now, I still think they're the best team in that division overall, but I think it'll come down to them and the Falcons at the end. Number 13, the Houston Texans. They drop down the list big. That's what happens when you get your butts kicked. 34-7 they lost. One of CJ Stroud's worst game as a pro. Nico Collins is hurt. Not sure what the situation is there. I still see no reason the Texans should not run away with the AFC South. Jaguars are horrible. My Titans are horrible. The Colts look bad. I don't see any way the Texans don't just run away with it at this point, even though they looked bad on Sunday. Number 12, the Eagles. The Eagles got a much needed win. I mean, the Eagles, after losing the way they did to the Falcons, they were in danger of really going down a road of, blame game and blame shifting and all that. I don't think Nick Sirianni's a good coach, but they won a tough, gritty one against the Saints. The issue for them is that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both out right now, and that's their top two targets. Number 11, the Rams. The Rams, I mean, what a gritty win for them. Down 24-7, down in the fourth quarter. A lot of guys hurt, a lot of key guys hurt, and Stafford takes them down there over and over. They win the game. This was potentially a season saver for the Rams, and I still think they can be a major player in the NFC. Let's get into the top 10, and at number 10, I've got the Ravens. The Ravens have issues, but Derrick Henry looked like Derrick Henry on Sunday. Him and Lamar in the run game, I think, will be dangerous. At the end of the day, I trust the Ravens to win games more than a lot of these other teams. So that's why I just figured the Ravens were a safe bet to put them into the top 10. Let's go to number 9, and that is the 49ers. I know people say, how do you have the 49ers ranked above the Rams when the Rams beat the 49ers? They get Deebo Samuel healthy, eventually maybe Christian McCaffrey. I still think the 49ers, along with the Lions, are the teams to beat in the NFC. I know they're 1-2. They've not gotten off to the start everybody expected, but I personally believe that the 49ers are going to get it together, and I couldn't find it in me to drop them out of the top 10. At number 8, the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, listen, they're 3-0. I think you could argue they have not played the most robust competition in the league. I mean, the Broncos, then they beat the Patriots in overtime, and then the other day they beat... Who did they beat on Sunday? The Dolphins, in the situation they're in. So, I mean, it's not the best wins, but, I mean, they play who's in front of them. They're 3-0. Geno has played well. Their defense has played well. I think Mike McDonald is proving to be a good head coach. And so we'll see how it goes once they play stiffer competition. But for right now, they're 3-0. You have to respect that. Speaking of 3-0, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 7. Not anything that I expected, but Mike Tomlin's a tremendous head coach. Justin Fields is gone from the slums to, he's like the Jeffersons. He's moving on up. And so he's got a better offensive line. He's got a much better organization behind him, much better situation. And the Steelers, I mean, I said if they beat the Chargers, I'm going to have to shoot them up this list. Well, they beat the Chargers, and here they are. I don't know if it'll last, but for right now, I got to put them in the top 10. At number 6, Jets, Jets. As I said last week, Aaron Rodgers is looking more like Aaron Rodgers every week. And that defense is good, and I did not buy into the Jets offseason hype. Maybe I should have, because they're looking like the real deal. Number 5, I put the Green Bay Packers. I mean, listen, Matt LaFleur, I think, is putting in his case for best head coach, one of the best head coaches in the league, right up there, maybe a tier below Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin. To be able to go out there with Malik Willis, and they're 2-0 with him. I don't know if Willis is playing this Sunday, but they're 2-0 with him. Matt LaFleur has just done a tremendous job, and I think, they've got a nasty defensive line. They're good against the run. When they get Jordan Love back, I have no reason to believe that they're not a top 5 team in the league. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. I'm finally buying into the Vikings. I mean, it's not just that they're 3-0, it's that they've beaten good teams. I mean, they beat the 49ers. They clobbered the Houston Texans when everybody thought the Texans were one of the better teams in the league. The Vikings are not just winning, they're winning against good teams. And so I got to put the Vikings up here. Sam Darnold's been great. The defense has been great. We'll see if it continues. Big game on Sunday because I think it's Vikings-Packers. Number 3, The Detroit Lions, I've still got the Lions. Look at the NFC North, by the way. Lions, Vikings, Packers, all of them 3, 4, and 5. I still think the Lions are I'm going to put them above these other teams. I just think they've got the better roster. I think they've got, there's just something feels a little more special about that Lions team. That city believes, and I think the Lions, the downfall of them, the only thing I will say is Dan Campbell can be too aggressive at times. I still say that. But at number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they're going to be up here. I mean, listen, everybody does this every year. Like, oh, have you looked at Mahomes' stats? Oh, what's wrong with the Chiefs? They're not putting up the numbers that you would expect. Dude, the Chiefs are 3-0. Like, stop. There's nothing wrong with the Chiefs. Y'all do this every year where you try and find something wrong with the Chiefs to try to have a headline. And they're 3-0. Like, there's nothing wrong with the Chiefs. Number 1, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I think the Bills just look incredible. Josh Allen looks the best he ever has. He looks better without Diggs, without Gabe Davis. He looks better without those guys. And they put a whooping on the Jags that brought a smile to my face, a tear to my eye, and a tingling to my loins. Let's go to the game pick. What did I just say? Oh my